Recording off there.
All right. You got to do editing for this one. Then.
I know, I gotta do editing
so
for
we
this
got
one.
to count in and all that stuff.
So 5, 4, 3, 2. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Poundcast. It is where I let the pups run and play and do whatever it is that they want to do.
So dangerous.
Yeah, you fucked up when you did that.
God, how was you guys this weekend? What'd you guys do? What'd you guys do? Actually, how's you guys' month? It's been a month.
It's been a month.
It's been a month.
It has been a month.
We just got back from Wisconsin Leather Weekend in Madison.
Y'all was right around the corner from us.
That's
We were.
what I'm saying.
Y'all could've,
It was
like, stopped by.
We were down the street. Other than that, it's been quiet. As for, I know we've had like personal things going on, but
Yeah, we were in Wisconsin. They judged the Leather Pride contest out there this weekend, and then I've been to camp a couple of times, and yeah,
Good camp.
Cactus.
camp.
Did you have fun at Cactus?
I did always have fun at Cactus.
Did you have fun at Cactus? You had big fun.
Always have fun at Cactus.
Was it big fun?
Several big funs.
Well, and did you go to the Cactus? Cause see, you have been living your best rich white woman life.
Yeah. So I did the cruise.
Tell us about the cruise.
I got really drunk. Learned that unlimited access to alcohol is very dangerous.
I told you that before you left.
Yeah, I didn't believe you. Realized that was real dangerous. We went play around in the Cayman Islands. Not the Cayman Islands, but Great Stirrup Cay. Puerto Rico, St. John, and then Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and you went with like the United Colors of Gay Benetton.
Yeah, there was a total of 8 of us, 8 gays on a boat. The funniest thing happened as we're walking through. The minute we get on the boat, we run into some other gays in the hall, and it instantly turned into instantly, and yeah. So
you was there. You was hanging out all weekend, wasn't you?
yeah, we would every night we would go to the gay bar where there was a gay bar on the boat at 6 p.m. They had on the registry was unofficial LGBT hangout.
They had one of those on my cruise too.
So we would always go as a bar called Sugarcane. A lot of fun. We would drink mojitos and be gay, and it was fantastic. So
And that was the only time they were gay.
that was the only time. Other than that, I was a straight man on the boat.
So did you have any choice fun? Did you go to visit anybody's cabins?
No, one of our friends did. One of our friends was a little active on the boat. They did a good job. There was some hot men on that boat. Jesus Christ, there was some hot men.
See,
on that
I
boat.
didn't have that on my boat experience. They wasn't that they weren't. Everyone looked a little dusty.
There was a man on our boat that we found him on Grindr and did not believe he was real. I was like, them tattoos don't match nothing. Sure enough, we get back from Puerto Rico. We're sitting on the boat, like in the little like the adults only area, and we're like sitting in like the they call it like the soak pool or whatever. It's like this deep. You just sit in there and get drunk. And we looked to the left. No, that was him. Then we couldn't find him all weekend. Right before we get off the boat, we noticed he's wearing a Norwegian shirt. He worked for them. That's why we couldn't find him. But that man was, oof, that man.
Why you didn't be like, hey,
Take me to your cabin.
hey, we see.
I'm telling him, I'll take you to my cabin. It has windows.
It's more than just a little bunk.
I have a balcony.
I have a balcony. You know, there was on our cruise. There was one at the unofficial gay hangout. One of the bartenders there was the cutest boy. He was super cute. Like you could tell, he was some sort of Eastern European.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe Russian, maybe
Beautiful.
Just
A mix of beauty.
Just a mix of beauty, and he had that like angry "I'll fuck you" face. That like hate fuck face.
Right.
Yes, please.
Give it to me. With a little like ponytail, and I was like, I would order a drink, and he would just like slam it down, like he was mad that he had to work at the gay bar, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
please.
Hate crime.
Hate crime.
The only guy that was kind of there was the other one that was there that showed a lot of attention. His name is Manny. Out of the group we went with, there were about 4 of them that were like real into 3 of them. 3 of them real into singing karaoke. They sing professionally. They do all this shit. Well, people in the karaoke bar took notice to that. We were celebrities on the boat and loved it. They were like, "Oh, you were the guys at karaoke in the corner, like having a whole party." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" There was a guy. His name was Manny. He took a liking to one of our other friends, and he's like, "Oh, that's my sister and my family and all this." And she's like, "Oh, you got a girlfriend?" He's like, "No, I'm kind of bi." He's like, "Bet you are."
Yes, you are.
And
he took him and showed him
the world.
Good time.
Showed him the world.
He didn't even let him see his dingo hopper.
No. But no, it was a fun cruise. It was a lot of fun.
You gotta tell the unique story though.
Oh, so JB and I are both obsessed with Beyonce's newest album, or just in general.
In general.
And as you know, Beyonce says unique constantly. Our ship cruise director, her name was Unique. So every time they would show her photo on the big TV, we would just scream, "Unique!" across the thing, and people were so confused.
I was telling a story last night in my comedy show that you guys still have not been to. Don't forget, I do a comedy show every third Monday at Gale's Public House. One day they'll show up. Who knows?
I'm worried if I'll get put on the stage. I don't want you to put me in a spotlight like that.
I'd never do that to you.
Okay, good. I believe you're a liar. No, you just have to let us know in advance.
I was going walking. Been going walking every day to like get in shape because I'm gonna be a skinny bitch. No, I'm not. The fact that you laughed when I said I'm gonna be a skinny bitch.
It's not that. It's doubting yourself that made me laugh. Not the.
Try somebody. Try Jesus. Don't try me. But so I was walking and I was listening to the album, and Move came on, and I was like, "Move out the way!" And these 2 old white people looked at me, turned around and looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not talking to you, but yes, you do need to move."
You.
Beyonce has me in a chokehold, and it's fine. Anyway,
Beyonce gonna get you in a fight.
I know who's gonna fight old people. I mean,
old people scrappy. You ever been to a nursing home? Them old people throw hands.
Listen, they don't have and they don't know what they're doing. They don't remember what year it is.
They got nothing left to lose. They're
Exactly.
It all.
You want to fight somebody ain't got nothing left to go for?
They don't remember what year it is. They still think it's 1953. I'm gonna get hate crime by an old lady.
Don't be talking about my family like that.
I mean, so that's what we have a really, really great show for you guys today. We have a very special guest that we'll be bringing on. So, he probably is one of the first people I met in the community that I was like, he could get it.
He can. I'm gonna get mine.
I was like, he could
how
get
many
it.
times have you met someone in the community and didn't say that?
All the time.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing,
Because you've said that 3 times today, in the hour we've hung out.
What 3 times? Now, there was the person that I met this weekend.
And then there was a second person that you met.
What second person that I met this weekend?
I'm not gonna say names. It's fine.
That's the same person.
No, there was another one. And then there was. Oh no, it's 4 times now. Because there was the one we just talked about. The 2 of your mutual friend. The 2 that run the event, or the 2 that run Hoist.
No, I said one of them could get it.
Ah, damn. All right, we'll talk about that later. And then now our guest.
But this was like first time. But now that's like my sis. I can't.
Not everybody can be your sis.
I can't throw. I just can't be throwing this booty cat to everybody.
Why not? I do.
Yeah.
Cause ain't nobody trying to catch it.
The same way sideways. You ain't gotta keep it locked up. You gotta give it out.
I just throw my booty cat to everybody. They're like, I'm nasty for that.
What is that? Help!
All I saw was this big fat back, this big black ass is coming towards me in warp speed. I can't do it. Anyway. Was that the sound of my hoe going past? Your Honor, you won't believe a hoe.
Sir, this man is a hoe! Oh,
oh man, we don't believe bottoms.
Mistrial.
Just don't misfire.
So, no, our guest, funny, whenever I first met them, they were shy, they were timid, very, like, in a little shell, and now they are...
One of the biggest hoes I know.
Absolute slut. Love them to death, and slutdom is ending for them now, and that's an exciting thing that's going to be there.
It's exciting, but I'm a little sad.
Because they're off the market?
I know, like I feel like I came in at the end of an era.
You lost a good one.
Like, pour a little bit out for our dead homie.
You were reeling it in just a little too slow, and then it got off the hook.
Yeah,
Gotta yank it, bitch. You gotta pull them. Yank them out the water.
And when he says yank it, that's not what he's talking about.
No, not that.
like, here's the thing. Like, for me, it takes a lot for me to even be like vocalize interest in someone I don't do that very often.
You'll yell at old people in the street, but you ain't gonna yell at somebody.
I ain't gonna holler at somebody about like, let me see that. Let me know what that dick do. Like, that's just not what I think
you should apply that same method. You should just tell like somebody you want to hook up with, move out the way. The same way.
Move into the way.
Move in the way. Like,
get in my way.
Like, maybe I should be like, I have to find a Beyonce lyric that works that I can do that too.
Church girl.
You can be my daddy if you want to.
Thick.
Yeah, there's so
much.
There's so many things I could do. All right, cool. Maybe I'll do that. But like, it's very hard for me to vocalize that. Like, I have to really get to know somebody before I can be like, yeah, I want to, fully
let you adopt this cat from Wayside Waves.
Right.
Got it.
I just can't be giving the cat to anybody.
That's what they do.
But see, they're
gonna have this video taken down because I keep trash talk. Anyway.
But here's the thing, like when you give your cat to everybody, it's not special. I wanted you to feel like you are special because I'm letting you come inside.
And come inside.
So we get to come inside.
Oh, so okay.
What's the point if you're not?
Just making sure. I'm making sure I understood you.
Yeah.
It's on camera.
If I let you, fold me like origami, that means you should be. You should feel
special.
special.
Are you flexible?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
You top too.
I do top.
Good to know.
This is going to be your new dating tape.
I used to be an exclusive top. Thank you very much.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I used to only top. I've only been like in my bottom era for like the last 2.5 years.
The last 2.5 minutes.
How the community changes.
Like, I was like, I want to see how the other half lives. I'm tired of doing all the work. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to take a rest and be like, hop on that bitch.
What I would like to do is we're going to backpedal a little bit because I've talked about my weekend.
Yes.
Talked about Zephyr's weekend. Let's talk about your weekend.
We're gonna save that for the after dark.
No, you can give a taste. It's fine.
So I went to a leather run, which is basically, for those who don't know what a leather run is, it is a group gathering of people in the leather community to fellowship. And commiserate and
have sex and drink.
Yeah, have sex and drink.
Basically.
Eat, drink, fuck, and be married.
And play games.
There's
a few games.
There are some games. There's a show you can watch. There's some entertainment. And then there's entertainment. But we're going to talk more about that in our After Dark portion that we will get to. That if you are a part of our Patreon, you will be able to see, along with some our guests that we're going to have in just a minute. Mm-hmm. So, guys, we'll be right back. Oh, we're definitely talking about that in the After Dark portion. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our show. We have our fantastic guests here with us. Hi.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm great. How should we address you today?
You can call me Pup Scrappy, or you can call me Dakota, or you can call me Ho. I don't care.
Can I call you Daddy?
Don't give us that power.
You can be my daddy if you want to.
I'm baby. I have 2 daddies at home, thank you.
Oh, wow. Baby's got 2 dads? I will say,
and a sir.
That's kind of funny.
I will say, like, here's the deal. We were talking about this stuff during the break, and I missed my chance to find Thor's hammer. We'll talk about that in the after dark portion. if you know, then you know.
This one knows.
We'll let you plug your Twitter later.
Okay.
Not on this one, because we know it's on there.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a couple of questions for you. We won't get into that. We'll actually wait and save that till the after dark. When did you join the pup community?
So, actually, my introduction to the puppy play community was actually something I don't practice anymore. It was, I met my sir. I started out as a boy. I met this guy on Grindr and we talked, and I was in a dark place in my life, and I went over to his house. If you know St. Joe, you know there's areas in St. Joe that are sketchy. I get to this man's house, and it is downtown, and he's like, you have to walk down this alley to get to my house. And I shit you, I look at this man's pictures, I look at the alley, I look back at this man's pictures, and in my head I go, I'm probably gonna die. And then I walk down the alley.
He was that fine?
Oh yeah. So I get up there, and we kind of, we have a connection, and so he starts doming me more and more. Oh yeah.
There was a connection.
Lots of connections. And during one of our sessions, he was like, do you know what puppy play is? And I said, very minimal, I know what the gear looks like, I know nothing about it. And so he was kind of like, I think you'd be really good at this. For this session today, I want you to be a pup. And I just he had a plug tail, he used it on me, and I loved it. If you ever worn a plug tail, great feeling. But he put a bowl of water on the floor for me, about 4 hours we did this session as a pup. And when we were done, he was like, that was just so natural for you. And so we started to explore it. And so for a long time, puppy play was very sexual for me. It wasn't until I went to Missy B's and listened to this wonderful human being give their speech on pet play, and then I started attending Midnight Howl, I actually got to experience headspace, actually truly feeling like a pet and not in a sexual manner. And as time has went on, me and my sirs, we still have a really good close relationship, but it's no longer physical. I'm no longer his boy. But in a way, I'll always be his pup, his boy. But for me, pet play has really changed.
Okay, yeah, because for you it's not sexual, but for you it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's very interesting. As somebody who is, I wouldn't consider myself a pup, although I'm, I go to all the
At
pup
this
stuff.
part, you've been indoctrinated into
At this
it.
point, I'm I'm just here. It's like me, the furry community. I'm not a furry, but
You've been
I've
indoctrinated.
been indoctrinated, and like I said last episode, I'm a fucking zookeeper. Does that make me a dog catcher?
Well,
Fancy, have you caught any pups yet?
Nah, he's too slow.
he's letting
missed it.
he's letting him fold him over like origami. He's not a very good catcher. Well, he is a good catcher.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
You keep fucking around with people I know, I might find out.
Or people I know.
I haven't given.
You leave 4 states away, and I still find.
You still find the one person that I would be that I would throw it to.
You have to consider, Zephyr and I have both lived all over the country of the United States. If you go somewhere, we will probably know someone.
And I travel, and I am pretty
This is shame.
known.
I can't even be a secret hoe.
No.
No. This one's been around.
No, this is an all outside, all outdoors hoe. But back to you. So what is it about that puppy headspace that feeds you?
So a lot of it goes back to when I first was introduced into pet play. Like I said, I was in a really dark spot in life. I was in a really bad relationship. Life was just beating me down. I had gotten a really bad medical diagnosis. Life was not going great. And with pet play, it really started to come to light. And life started getting better and better. And then when I actually got into Headspace, it was just that feeling of freedom. like, I didn't have to think about anything except for, like, how much I was going to make that squeaky toy squeak. And how much, like, I was moving and having a good time. And I could get lost in headspace for hours. Like, I am very much the type of person who, there better be a handler around or I'm not going to drink water.
So you have to have somebody to be like, hey, this...
Somebody needs to supervise Scrappy.
Babysit.
Because when Scrappy comes out to play, he's there. Now, there's been times where I've been pulled out of headspace, but without, like, really trying too hard. And there's been other times where coming out of it is a struggle. Like, it takes a hot minute.
I know that feeling.
See, and because I've not been to or experienced a scene where, like, people are in that headspace.
A mosh.
Like a mosh or anything like that. Like, I've only ever been to kind of the laid backs or the pup night, so it's...
You should come to Pet Night at 9 sometime. Check us out. Just kind of, we always need more handlers to observe. It is a non-sexual event. Everybody has clothes on, I promise. We're not going to steal your flower.
There's other reasons, but we'll talk about that in a future episode.
We're not going to talk about that right now, but this is about you. Did you see my face? my face
Oh, we
giving.
saw it.
I couldn't see you. I just felt shit tense up, and I was like, oh.
Like, that aura just changed.
I'm sorry.
fine.
Bring
No.
up sore subjects.
It's okay. I just like, and to me, I feel like the pup community and the leather community have become intertwined in a lot of ways. Did you start off because you said you started off as a boy, which is kind of leather, and do you still find yourself consider yourself leather as well as a pup, or are they completely separate to you?
For me, I would have never considered myself leather. I always kind of separated it completely. Because honestly, before I started being a boy, I was like 100% vanilla, nothing risque, nothing. There was no being tied down, choked, spit on, none of that. Now I'm just like,
Look at you
daddy.
now. Look at you now. I've seen you get spit on. It's great.
I would say that there is a difference between leather and BDSM.
Right. I agree.
And I think that I would say that Scrappy kind of fell a little bit more into the BDSM side of it versus the leather.
The leather side. Okay. Because I do know that there's a difference between those two things, but I
There's
think
a lot of crossover. But
I think because I've always seen when I came into especially gay leather, the pups were so intertwined in those worlds that they've always just kind of been one and the same to me. It's almost like an extension.
I think you started getting the crossover from puppy into BDSM and leather intersect, so then you get a lot of leather bound puppies, and then but there are also puppies like Scrappy they're not leather, they're not that side of it.
And there's also, I mean, if you look at some of the old guard leather, a lot of them don't like pups because they don't understand it, and it doesn't fit into their box of this is what a pup should be. When you have those pups running around going,
I'm gonna be doing
rude, it's all me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I had a conversation about this weekend about the old guard versus the new guard. And, I'm a firm believer in you take the traditions of the old guard, but you make them new.
That is one of the hottest topics right now, especially in leather.
Yeah.
What are the 2 points? New guard saying that old guard has to change to accept the new ways of life and pieces of the community, and a big thing is people of color, trans people, women. There's a lot of things that go into it.
I have opinions on that will probably get me canceled, so I'll leave it alone. But we'll talk about it later.
We can talk about it on a different show.
Yeah.
I like those. And then the old guard is saying that they're feeling as if they're being erased, that their traditions aren't being adapted to the new guard where it can be that way.
I think that there's a saying that old guard is dead.
They say that a lot.
And my issue with that term is you wouldn't be able to have a new guard if old guard wasn't there.
Absolutely.
So you have to honor and you may not agree with everything that old guard went through, but they wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be here without them.
Sure.
So there has to be a level of respect and understanding where those came from, and transforming those into the new guard, having more empathy, being more open, being more inclusive.
Like everything else in history, things have to grow and change.
Yes.
To move forward.
And by the time new guard and old guard come to pass and be like, okay, we've settled an agreement,
There'll be a whole new other group.
there's a whole new guard that's gonna come in and be like, actually,
all the shit that you guys have done is stupid.
everything you've done now doesn't fit what this is. This is an age-old tale of the two fights of like young versus old traditions versus new tradition. It's always going to be this.
Right, and
it's always going to be. Somebody's going to feel
I think there is
something.
and as someone who is younger, because I'm a grandpa, like I remember some of the old guard stuff, and there were things that I didn't agree with, like the terms master and slave and things like that. Especially when you're talking about in the leather side. I mean, you have your pup and handler, but I don't think I haven't heard anyone use that term in pup stuff.
No, it's usually pup or
pup, pet, or handler, and things like that. But like there were things that I had an issue with. But I also said, okay, these are old guard and old way of thinking. I will respect someone who came before me who used those terms, because it gives me the chance to say, you can't use that shit with me.
Sure.
But I get it.
And nor should they use that with you without your consent and without your having that agreement with them. Yeah. There are still those individuals that have that BDSM relationship of the master slave.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want to.
You did kind of summarize the old guard versus new guard argument. Is old guard is very much like this is the tradition. You're saying new guard is to say you can't say things like that. You can't do things like that.
Right, and that's
because times have changed, things have changed.
But there's also needs to be, I think, a level of grace extended to the old guard, because they've always done something the same way, and even though it needs to change,
right?
You have to say it. You know what? I get. It may take a while for you to understand and catch up, because shit's changing fast. There's shit that even me, who I am new guard in a lot of ways, because I am new to leather and all of that. I still think that I'm like, I don't own.
Zephyr and I could talk for hours about like the complications of being community leaders and like navigating both sides of that. It is difficult to bridge that gap of like saying like, yeah, the adaptation is new guard. We need to apply these new things while still paying respect to where it came from.
Right.
You have to get rid of the issues that are problematic. You have to get rid of that. And as much as I like to think that, yeah, I'm up on this and I know what I'm talking about and stuff, I constantly learn stuff every week.
We had conversation just the other day where we sat and talked for 2 hours.
It's a 7-hour road trip. We're going to talk about everything. So, and I mean, it's down to the things of like, let's talk about like pronouns. Let's talk about like identities and stuff like that. And how does one versus the other, like, and again, I'm completely blowing over specifics here. It's that. And the thing is that he and I go through these things of like teaching each other like, no, you can't say that. And it's like, why? And it's like, I can explain it. Whether you fully understand it or not, you have to take it, roll with it a little bit, make it make sense in your head, and then move on.
Right.
It's not an easy task, and it never will be an easy task.
And I think that, go ahead, because I think you've been itching. I see you chomping at the bit.
So, like, I kind of got both experiences with old guard and new guard, because my sir handler Carter, he was brought up on old guard. Mm-hmm. So when we first started, that's kind of what he went with. And I mean, he's older, 56. Don't kill me, sir, for saying your age. But
you gonna get it.
We're sending him this video.
He would tell me, like, he's like, I learned just as much from you that you have from me. And he adapted as I changed and grew. He changed and grew. And I think that's the important thing. It's not necessarily erasing somebody. I think it's just taking the time to teach and learn. And Right, because I mean, yes, at a certain point, yes, you do have to give people grace, but at the same time, how much grace can you extend? And with Carter, he kind of like me and him, total different generations, total different upbringings. He grew up in like New York, very conservative parents, and for me seeing how much he's willing to learn and change, because honestly when I was younger, like when I first met him, I was really in the mindset of like, oh, old people, like they don't care about what's going on, they just care about themselves and they don't know what's going on in the world. And then as me and Carter, we really educated each other.
Get off my lawn.
We educated each other not just in the bedroom, but in the
But
world.
in the world. And you asked the question, you said, how much grace do you think should we extend? And I think that's different with different people. You know what I mean? Like
it's a big thing on, you need to constantly provide the education in a way that is digestible, of course. Like, you have to do it in that manner. But you don't have to allow yourself to be disrespected while also not disrespecting the person that you're providing that education for. If you're telling somebody, hey, the language you are using is problematic, of course they're immediately going to be defensive. You have to approach it in a manner that says, hey, maybe try using a different set of terms, all of that. Yes, there are graces that you need to offer to the people that did come before you, set this path, did all this stuff. We've heard that trope a million times. You still have to, you cannot allow yourself to be disrespected, but you should not be disrespecting others while you are teaching them.
So here, I use this when it comes to when talking old guard versus new guard, in terms that like I think some people really can kind of understand. You give your if you give your racist grandmother a pass, because that's your racist grandmother, and that she's stuck in her ways. If you see somebody that's old guard, that's stuck in that old guard, sometimes you gotta be like, you know what? That you just are who you are.
Well, there's always the variable of the thing.
There's a variable.
Some people will never change. And it comes down to that.
And like on that note, like your racist grandmother. So my grandmother, like she's in her 80s. She was like diehard homophobe. She went to anti-gay rallies at Walmart. She would comment. She would comment on people looking a little dykey or looking fatty to her grandchildren. So when I came out as gay, like I never told her because I was like, I don't want to cross that bridge with my grandma. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and we came over, and he knew that I was like, my grandma's gonna know you as a friend. I hate that, but this is kind of. And
we're roommates.
She said, like, while we were sitting there, my jaw dropped to the floor. She was like, I really like your boyfriend. He's really sweet. And I get married next week on October 1st, and my grandma will be there. So I think people can change if they're open to change.
But the thing is you also like, it is one of those things where you didn't go to your grandma and say, now mind you, I'm the type of person that the way that I'm built, I'm checking your racist grandma.
Oh, same.
Like that.
There's been times I've had to message Scrappy, and we'll touch on this in a minute, where a family member or someone that I can clearly tell is his family because they have the same last name. They have a unique last name, so it's easy. It's very easy to point them out.
Don't have that last name no more?
Not no more. We'll talk about that. Congratulations. I'll message him and be like, can I just unleash on this person? And he tells me every time, go for it. And I'm like, bless.
So like, as I've gotten older and actually gotten around like a better community.
Gotten around.
I know. I did. I slept around.
Different community.
But anyways,
that's for the after dark portion, but we'll get there.
I actually, like, it gave me the strength and courage I never had to actually speak up and call people out on those behaviors. Because, like, my family, especially my parents, are, like, conservative Trumpers, and I can't, like...
You can't do it?
I can't do it. I literally... we have to have, when I visit my parents, we have a strict, like, no politics, no talk with the news, because I have gotten up and left. And my parents live like 4 hours from here. And
You're like, I will leave, bitch.
There has been times, and my mom knew, like, with my wedding and stuff, I was like, if you keep, like, because her and me were fighting a lot, and I was like, I will uninvite you. Like, there is a point with the things you say that hurt the people I love that you will no longer be welcome in my home.
I will say, and this question was asked to me, I think on KC Legends, the podcast you did with Zephyr and I, we started talking about like family dynamic and how does that work with some of this stuff like that. I am like blown away by you sometimes. One,
because you put it all out there.
You put everything out there. Your family knows Pup. They know all of this stuff.
Your family know you. Your family know you out here howling.
Yeah,
well, maybe not,
it's also you have no qualms about telling one of them, y'all are wrong. Like, this is bad. Like, y'all shouldn't do it. I live by that. I will clock my family every chance I get. I actually look for chances to do it because it's funny.
I'm actually I have a biological brother that I've completely cut off. To me, he's dead, buried.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist to me. My mom grew up in that time where family was everything. Blood was the thickest thing. And for me, my chosen family is the people that I consider blood. I don't care if we share the same DNA. That does not make us family.
What is the whole saying? Because it's always like everyone.
Blood is thicker than water.
It's always thicker than water, but it's like the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of something, and it's like basically the covenant is the group that you have now accumulated. It's not the blood of the family. It's that whole thing, and I'm like, boy, I love how that was just.
And the thing is, like, I grew up. My family is very much. Luckily, my family aren't always terrible. Most of the time, they're not terrible. Every once in a while we have to have conversations, but they are very family first. Like,
that's family. You can't do that. That's very
family,
much.
You can't
do that. You can't say that to him. That's
can't say that to them. That's family. Blah blah blah. And I'm the one that's like, it ain't nothing to cut that hell off. Like,
same.
Yes.
And it's sometimes I think, and you probably your family is very similar. Sometimes you kind of get that little bit of guilt. That's like. That is family. But, like, I don't need you in my life if you're toxic, period.
There's a new song that came out by Meghan Trainor, and I pinned the lyrics to the top of my profile page. And it's just basically like, even though we're blood, I know this love's bad for me. My mom called me the day I pinned that to my page crying, like asking, is that about me? And I was like, Mom, you're not ready to have that conversation.
Mom, I've been to therapy. You should go.
My therapist tells me all the time, you give your mom way too much leeway and you give her way too much credit. He's like, if you brought your mother in here to one of your therapy sessions, she would leave crying. And I'm like, for me, I've always known I could tell my mom all my issues. She would cry, she would make it about her, and she wouldn't hear anything I said.
My son does the same thing.
So I don't waste my breath with energy. There's things in life.
Listen, I'm gonna shut the whole fuck up because Phyllis Manuel might turn around and decide she wants to watch this one day, and I don't need that. We're not ready to have that conversation.
Anything, like, honestly...
Scrappy's mom might watch this one, so...
I'll probably send it to her. But, I mean...
Watch this.
She's my mom. I do love her, but she knows that there are things that she is not ready to hear from me. And there's things that she... Like, I recently, got married. I changed my last name. That was a 3-hour conversation with my mother that I did not want to have.
I would be curious about that. Like, can you give us the short on that? Because, again, you have more conservative parents. How did they feel with you as a gay man changing your name to another man's last name?
So, when I first came out, it was not necessarily my choice. I chose to trust somebody I thought was a really close friend, and they wanted to help me by basically saying, if you don't come out, I'm gonna out you.
Okay.
So
how do we have the same life? What's happening here?
Twins. And so I came out, and of course I did it in the worst way, typical Gen Z, millennial, whatever I am. I don't keep it track.
Did you ever want to highlight?
I posted it on Facebook.
Oh.
And
like,
I was pretty much like, I'm gay. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm
I
not.
love that.
That is the worst way you could do it.
And
I don't want to talk about it. I'm gay.
So everybody thought my page got hacked. And I'm sorry, there was no way it was a surprise. I collected Care Bears. I was obsessed with. I mean, I was.
You also have a little. Oh, I use the term. I'm gonna go ahead.
I was the biggest bag in the school. Like everybody, you had to know. My parents used to tell me how gay I was. So when I came out to them, I was kind of thinking like, this is not gonna be a big deal. Like Katy Perry had a song on her first album called "You're So Gay."
Yeah.
My parents would sing that song to me, and every time it came on the car, I'd be like, "Oh, look, it's Dakota's song," and would play it loud. So I didn't really think it was gonna be
A parenting choice.
all that great. Like I was kind of like, they're probably not gonna like it, but it's probably not gonna be that big deal. My mom did not talk to me for 2 weeks. Didn't say a word. It was hell because in my head, because I had seen like TV programs and stuff where kids come out, they get kicked out. I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere in bumfuck Missouri, like conservative ass town. I was like,
Are you a corn-fed? Are you one of them corn-fed country boys?
I am.
That's why.
I just think
That's why.
I just think
Okay.
it's funny Zephyr sitting over there with a healthy family unit. Everyone loves each other and shit. We're all over here with trauma. All over here with trauma.
Like,
Okay, if we're
now,
gonna
mind
get-
you, if you talk to my family, we're a healthy family unit. They all think everything's
We ain't gonna
wonderful.
get into all the trauma because there's not enough time on this computer. But and the whole time my dad, the only thing he was saying to me was, "Look what you've done to your mother. You've upset her." And my aunt, who had always been my person, the person I would go stay with when things were rough at home, the person who was always there for me. She said the thing to me nobody wants to hear when they come out, and it's like, "I love you, but I can't love you if you're gay."
Ooh.
And that hurt because to me, she was that person I could have told anything
Oh,
to.
baby, that's the worst.
Honestly, karma came back in bitter because both of her daughters are gay. And
Get him on the show.
Right.
Get him on the show. Let's
But
put him in a pup hood.
They just like it. But my mom kind of like they were not okay. My dad was very much like, "Oh, it's just an act. He's just trying to get girls." And my mom eventually, do you know those people who try to like overcompensate for things when they really aren't okay with something? They go out of their way to seem. She would tell everybody, "Oh, my son's gay." She would say the most homophobic thing. Say, "I'm not homophobic because my son's gay." She just
I'm not homophobic because I'm gay.
She would say,
I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is.
right?
I'm not homophobic because I'm gay.
I'm not gay because I say no homo first.
I've sucked 12 dicks, but I said no
kept-
homo first before.
I kept my socks on. That makes it
So-
not
The
gay.
balls
The
never
balls never
touch.
touched.
So
We're not
back
bros.
to the question of when I knew I was going to change. I always knew I was going to, whoever I married one day, I knew I was going to take their last name. And I never really shared that with my parents because at the time when I thought about it, I mean, it wasn't technically an option. And then, of course, love wins, and we finally got the right to actually get married. Well, I didn't even think it was going to be that big of a deal because honestly, at this point, I mean, my Christmas cards one year were me in a pup hood. So I was like, I mean, there's nothing I can do that's going to upset
remember those.
anybody.
I know that one.
I remember those.
I called my
love that.
mom and I was like, how do I go about changing my last name? You know, they don't really teach you that stuff in school.
Right.
And I was kind of like, I don't know how to do this. And she was like, "Oh, is Josh changing his name?" And I was like, "No, I am." And she was like, "Why would you do that? It's 2022. You don't need to change your name." And I would like to share.
I like that throwback. It's 2022. You don't need to do that. Well, Mom, glad
Well,
you've made it to
Well,
this
Mom,
year.
it's 2022.
I want to share the last name of my husband. I want us to have the same last name. And that's something I've always wanted. I don't want us to have separate last names. And my last name, I've never liked it. I've always got made fun of for it.
I can't pronounce it.
How do you think it's said? Just say it how you think it is.
I'm not telling you.
You think it's Scooby, don't you?
Something like close Skaboody or something.
It's Scobie.
See?
And I my mom was not happy with it, and the tones in her voice, you can still tell. Because I told her, like, oh, I went to the Social Security office and I did it. It's super simple, by the way. There's a form you print off online, you fill it out, you take it into the office, you give them your birth certificate and your marriage certificate, and they send it off in 2 weeks. You'll have your new card.
Oh, nice.
And it's totally free. It's easy.
I ain't getting married, so you gotta worry about that.
But
if I was to get married, I can't have my man's last name. I'll tell you later. It's a long name.
But like, there's been like, honestly, this wedding and stuff. It's really thrown it into light. I think for my parents, like, my last relationship was 5 years, and it was not a healthy relationship. And my parents liked him, and honestly, I think the reason they liked him is because he was probably the straightest acting gay man I knew.
Till he's having sex.
Yes. Once a year, if I'm lucky.
Is it that one I met whenever you guys first started coming to...
Yep.
Yep. Okay. I remember. Yeah, you're right.
But he was an executioner last year for Halloween, did full blackface. Dude, everybody was like, what?
At my party, he shows up.
Was that the one I went to?
It was last year.
How did I miss the blackface?
Because he was like, I literally said, you're wearing blackface. He's like, no, it's not. I'm an executioner. I just painted my face black because I'm an I was like, no, honey, no. You are white.
And he went into the bathroom and he's like, wiping it off.
I missed. How I missed the blackface is beyond me. Because I would have been like.
Maybe it was.
It was dark.
It was rough. It was choices.
Yeah, and it was brought to his attention very immediately by several people.
So it's probably before I went. That all happened before I got there. And like I didn't really know a lot. Like that's kind of where we actually met. Mm-hmm. Was at that party. So I probably would have.
My best friend at the first party I went to, Winter. That's the "Who the fuck is Scrappy" moment I'll never forget. He's gonna tell that speech at my wedding.
Can't wait to hear that.
So
I'm gonna crash your wedding.
I mean, you can come to the reception if you want. It's from 4 to 10. I'll shoot you the deets. We're gonna have a drag queen at 7:30. Cynthia Dahl is performing.
I love Cynthia Dahl.
Housebound Boots, and it is not a family-friendly drag show. Hide your grandmas.
Or invite them.
Bring your racist grandma. We would love to see it.
We'd love to see it.
When she found out there were straight people going to be there, her face lit up like 4th of July.
You mean to tell me there'll be heterosexuals there? No, it's so this is the deal, Mom or Grandma. We have the wedding at 4, and then the reception at 4:30, and the orgy is at 5:45.
Gotta load up my new husband. No, we made that joke. It's not happening. But
not at the reception.
Not at the reception. That's the after party. That's an exclusive invite.
Oh, okay.
To only one other person gets invited.
I was just gonna say, none of us got.
None of us.
I was gonna say that wasn't part of my.
Sorry, if it wasn't part of your invitation, sorry to tell you.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna go write it in.
But
look, it's right there.
I'm here for the orgy.
So the wedding, there's been a few pushbacks from my mother. One of her biggest pushbacks is like, who is gonna walk me down the aisle? So
Cynthia Dahl.
No. My sir, Carter, is going to be the one giving me away, and that was very important to me. Like, because we are integrating padlocks into our ceremony. We are going to exchange locks. I actually got some really cute locks that are custom engraved. And she is very upset by that. She thinks she should be allowed to walk me down the aisle. And there's a whole nother reason why that's not happening. But I decided to be nice, and I was just like, Mom, this is about me and about Joshie. We are not going into that. My vision is to be given away by Carter. He is my sir, he is my handler. Even if we don't have a physical relationship anymore, spiritually, he will always be that for me.
It's always interesting how parents think they have claims to their kids' like weddings. So like I have multiple friends that plan weddings and all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh well, we can't do this because my mom doesn't like it." And I'm like, "Your mom's writing a check? Is she paying? What is she doing?"
For nothing.
Listen,
it's even like even if you are like, this isn't your day. It's mine.
I am
like,
a firm believer of when I was growing up, if you could pay a bill, you could have an opinion.
If you ain't paying my bills, pay them bitches no mind.
That's how we grew up.
What are the F's?
Feeding, fucking, or financing. And now,
There's a lot more F's than I remember.
That's true.
feeding, fucking, and financing.
Those are the three.
Oh, you said, okay, the 3. I was like,
And now, when it comes to my life, if you aren't paying a bill, you can't have an opinion. Like, it's just... Now, mind you, if my mom want to come pay my car insurance, I ought to have an opinion. It ain't gonna mean nothing.
you can talk. I'm hear it. But
Let me hear it. I might take it. I take it under advisement.
So, speaking
Noted.
of mothers,
Noted.
Noted.
so Joshi is Latino, and so of course, he's got a Latino mother. She has been the one, like, me and her get along, but you talk about pushy women.
Oh, she wants what she wants, so she wants it now.
If she had her way, our wedding would have 500 plus people, every cousin, whatever you could pull out.
There would be a quinceañera at your wedding.
I kind of how I handled her is I told her, write me a list of everybody you want to attend, and I need you to write the relation. And so she did, and I gave it to my husband, and I said, I want you to go through and cross off everybody's name off this list that you do not know who they are. And so he did, and that reduced the list by a lot. And then I said, I want you to go through now and cross off everybody off that list you don't like. And then here we are now. Because I'm sorry.
It went from 452 people to 7.
I'm like, I'm not paying for, I'm not paying for a bunch of people we don't know, we don't like to be at our wedding. We want people we know and love to be there.
See, this is how let me tell you how you stop that real quick. And you've already got it taken care of. No. My feelings are hurt because I'm not invited, but it's fine.
You can come to the reception. You can come to there is going to be barbecue.
My RSVP is already taken. I'm sorry. I got my own husband.
Anyway, this is what I would do. All those people that I don't know or don't like, I would be like, yeah, they can come. And then at the end of the meal,
A bill.
I'm sending the bitches invoices. Don't play with me. I'm
Ask
not
them
paying for
and
you.
be like, what did you bring? Where's my wedding gifts? I know you don't want them, but
That was the joke. We were like, if extra people show up, like try to crash, we told the ushers. It was a joke. We were like, send them away unless the gift is nice. You gotta ask how much.
So listen, I'm not gonna come all the way out to where your reception is, and then you be like, well, yeah, you can come to the reception, no problem. I show up. Your name is not on the list, Pooh.
No, we're not having no security. It's just there is 70 people who are coming to the ceremony, and there are 70 chairs. Somebody extra show up, you standing in the back.
so what is the final number for you? So you have 70 at the ceremony, and then what is your final number for your reception?
I think because you have to factor in the photographer, the DJ, or drag queen, and the wedding party. I think about 78.
Okay.
And I think technically right now
79.
you can come, baby. I'll give you the info. We let you. It's a
For
bring
sure.
your own booze event because I do not drink.
You don't drink.
I'm allergic to alcohol. You give me a drink, you will kill me. Found that out the hard way.
Almost
Trip to the hospital. Great time.
Oh no.
And Joshy drinks, but he doesn't drink much. So I'm like, bring your own booze. That may be tacky, but I'm not paying for alcohol for people.
For people that I'm not drinking.
I don't
I'm
drink.
gonna bring a bottle and just hang out. My boyfriend don't drink. It's gonna be my bottle.
You don't drink. You weren't gonna drink.
No, he smoked. He'll eat an edible.
No, yeah, both
But-
my boys are stoners.
Oh God, yeah, those boys get high.
In the movie theater yesterday, Gary kept hitting his pin, and I was like, they have cameras in here. You're going to get us kicked out. Granted, the movie was terrible, awful, pissed me
I had to be
off.
high to get through this movie, bitch.
He did. He was like, the stale popcorn was the highlight. And I was like, damn.
Well, I want to ask you where the people can find you if they want to get to know you. Not your
Okay.
Twitter.
So, honestly...
Not that one.
You can say Twitter. I always have to plug my Twitter.
So, honestly, the places you can find me on Facebook. It's Dakota Howard, spelled just like the state. If you can't spell Howard, I'm sorry, you can't find me. But I'm pretty open. I'm on Telegram. My Telegram name is Scoby Homo. That is also my Twitter handle, SKOUBY Homo.
Putting it right up there for everybody to see.
And it's kind of like that was my first like username. I came up with it when I had Snapchat back there. I do not have Snapchat anymore, so if you add that, it will sit in pending forever because I deleted that.
But Snapchat was nasty.
And
No, it was before I was a hoe. I didn't lose my virginity till after high school.
Me neither.
I grew up in
You
a
are
small.
the same person.
I grew up in a small community. There was no other gay people.
Out.
Pretty much. now, like half my classes come out as gay, and I'm like, y'all were bullying me when we were in school.
Right.
They wanted to bull. They wanted to get in them.
I got those messages from people.
If they had only known.
But honestly, for me at school, I got picked on up until my sophomore year. A kid was smacking me in the back of the head, calling me a faggot. I turned around, I broke his nose. Nobody messed with me after that.
I dropped my pants in front of everybody. I said, "Who's next, motherfuckers?" None of them ever spoke to me again.
Sometimes you have to do
I went
something.
the fighting route. I didn't go the fucking route.
I did. Because I've been hit on enough. Anyways.
Like hit on or hit on?
Yes.
Both.
By the same people.
It's funny.
Like behind scenes, they're like, "Hey, I know that we don't get along well, but
You want to taste it?
Pretty much, but would you be interested in?" And then the next day at school, or whatever. And
I'd be like, "That's why your dick tastes like cheese,
Yeah.
bitch."
Cottage cheese.
Love a good string.
wrong. This is not the after dark. We can't talk about
I do love a string cheese.
It's just pulling it apart.
No, but I'm open to like if you have questions of me, I'm very an open book. But if you message me and get creepy, I hit that block button very quickly. Do not send me your naked pictures without asking consent. And if you are going to send it without consent, it better damn well be impressive because I'm showing all my friends.
I will get them.
I will, and I also would like to be on the list of people that get them.
We will drag you for
I will.
sending that.
I will 100% post it to a. I will send back my thoughts.
We will. You need to
We'll write
take
Yelp review.
you just need to make a little video of random dick pics that have been received and put it on Patreon and just.
Well, we can't do that because that technically would be revenge porn,
And that's against the
and
law.
that's against the law. But what we can do is maybe do
When they're sending
where
it next
we
to the
send
remote,
it.
we'll say use the Roku remote next.
What we'll do is we can always do an episode where we rate them, where we don't show them.
We don't show them.
We can
Yeah.
just talk about them. All right, guys, that is going to be it for our YouTube portion of the show. We will be right back in just a few minutes. No, we won't be back in a few minutes because we're going to go take a break and then we're going to go to the Patreon. So go to patreon.com/KC Caffeine and sub. It's really, really easy to do. It's quick. It's just $1 to get all of this beautiful fucking content. And then there's more if you want more shit.
We're going to talk about dicks.
We're talking about a lot of dicks.
If you want to know what Scrappy's packing, tune in.
And on that note.
Hey, I'm an innocent flower now.
Good night, y'all.